couch critic, Dennis P, sitting here on my couch musing Chelsea Football Club. Now before I get into that Brighton City review, could you please do me a big favor and hit that like button, that subscribe button. And if you're a real bad man, you'll hit that bell notification button to keep up with the latest and the newest. Alright, let's get right into it. Chelsea versus Brighton up at the American Express Stadium. Game finished 2-1 to the Chelsea with goal scorers Eden Hazard and Pedro, and a consolation from Solly March. Now coming off an impressive win against Man City last week, what you would like to see Chelsea do this week is use that as a lightning rod to take them through the Christmas period. And for me, the exact opposite happened. We didn't see the same sort of application and endeavor, which is unfortunate given the fact that they did use the same system that was successful against City, Hazard in the false nine, which is what I predicted going forward as being the go-to tactic for Maurizio Sarri in games. And unfortunately, they just didn't have the same sort of like endeavor and will to win. And I think that comes down to like the lack of leadership on the pitch. More on the leadership later on in this video, but right now I'd like to focus on one of the talking points from this particular match, which was the tempo and pace at which it was played at. And for me, Chelsea just did not get out of second gear, and as a result, they allowed Brighton to get into the match. We're just not really showing the characteristics that are intrinsic to a Maurizio Sarri-ran team. If you remember him at Napoli, they moved the ball quickly, 1-2s, nobody dwelled on the ball, and like maybe one and two touches and then the ball is gone. Lately, what we've been seeing at Chelsea is a lot of guys trying to take guys on one-on-one, not a tight, compact unit moving forward. So as a result, the combinations aren't really coming off, and a lot of like just slow movements, moving up the pitch and whatnot. And it's just not, the system's not set up to play that way. You need to play it at a fast tempo. When you overload areas of the pitch and move the ball quickly, you force defenders to make quick decisions, and as a result, they usually make mistakes. And what we're seeing right now is Chelsea's moving into the dangerous areas at such a slow rate that the defense is having time to adjust to the movement and putting 2, 3, 4 men in front of the ball. And it just makes it very difficult to play through. See Willian get on the ball, touch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then just move it back into the defensive areas. Pedro trying to take guys on, like running at like breakneck speed with no real control of the ball. David Luiz, when Jorginho's marked out of the game, taking his sweet time to get up the pitch and not really break lines with passes and move quickly on the pitch as well. So everything's just disjointed at this point in time. It's indicative of the results that we're getting as well. I mean, if you ask me, this game just mirrored the Wolves game a couple weeks ago, where Chelsea were well in control in the first half, popped it around, moved it around quite nicely, and got so comfortable that they forgot that there's a second half of football to be played. Once Brighton stepped it up a gear, we didn't match it at all, and they ended up taking over the match. It's become more of the trend that's what's happening at Chelsea right now. We get so comfortable and complacent in our game, passing the ball sideways, moving it back, you know, slowing down the tempo, that when it comes time to pick it up again, we don't have that lightning rod to get us playing football again. It's becoming a bit of a problem, really, and you know, we definitely need to address that going forward, because we can't continuously play and hope for mistakes to lead to our goal scoring opportunities. You take away the opportunities that we scored today, which were basically down to individual errors from Brighton. I mean, they gave away, I think Dunk gave away the ball, and Willian played in Hazard for the second. And we got lucky when Hazard took the shot, it deflected right back into his path, and then he was able to break and basically slide in a perfect ball to Pedro for the first goal. But aside from that, we haven't really hurt them in terms of our build-up play and our interplay. So these are the areas that I think that we need to like address if we're going to be successful this season. This is the second Premier League game in succession that we've seen Eden Hazard in the false nine role, and I think it's working out great. Mainly because we're getting more ball handlers on the ball, and we're using more pace to hit teams. It's exactly what we need. Sometimes when we play with Giroud or even Morata for that matter, like attacks break down because we don't have the pace and we don't have the technique. They don't necessarily, not that they don't hold up the ball well, but like the ability to link play guys in and whatnot has been lacking. And we're seeing that with Hazard. He's such a genius on the ball. Not only does he attract a lot of defenders towards him that creates space for other guys, but he also has the ability and the ingenuity to play guys in, play around guys, and you know, score goals for himself. And I think it's a system that we're going to have to start using a lot more this season if we are to, you know, make our mark in the top 4. So look for that to happen down the stretch. I can guarantee you that Hazard's going to be used in this false nine role a little bit more frequently. I'm not sure if this is going to be something that's popular or unpopular amongst the masses, but I'm starting to believe that Ruben Loftus-Cheek has staked his claim for the starting role in this starting 11. Mainly because he has so much presence on the pitch. When he comes on, he makes a difference. His movement, his strength on the ball, his ability to shield and win fouls, his goal scoring ability, his link-up play, all of that is looking like indispensable. Contrast that to what we're seeing from Kovacic the last little while. He's been, ineffectual. Let's be honest. As much as I like him as a player, the last little while he hasn't really made a mark on the game. Kovacic hasn't really earned the right to be an automatic starter anymore. As much as he works hard for the team, as much as he runs and runs and runs, he's not scoring, he's not assisting, he's very rarely putting in a tackle. That may be down to the fact that we're in possession a lot of the time, but I'm not seeing the incisive passes, the take-ons, like none of that's actually even happening. So he can't be considered indispensable, especially because he is on loan as well, and we have guys like Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek who we own and are doing those things that I was speaking about earlier. And if Ruben can actually get into the side, it will actually address another need that we have, which is physicality and height, and may allow for Maurizio Sarri to rotate Alonso with Emerson a little bit more. Outside of his stature on the pitch and his ball striking ability, Alonso's been very poor the last little while as well. And you understand why he's on the pitch for the reasons I just stated, his stature and his ability to strike the ball. But everything else he's been poor in. Like, he got done by Sully March on a couple occasions today. Like, this is Sully March. We're not talking about, Salah or, who knows, or Anthony Martial, anybody really. This is like Sully March plays for Brighton, and he gave him all sorts of problems today. Probably even should have been sent off, if I'm being honest. It's coming to the point where if all things were equal, which they aren't, unfortunately, Emerson would be getting a shout for that starting 11 role on the left back role. But again, having said that, I still think that there's a possibility if we give Ruben that chance, have him there as the outlet ball, and have Emerson be the guy that's kind of like running on and stitching up the attacking moves with whoever the left winger is. That could be a possibility there, because it seems like Maurizio Sarri realizes that we have a diminutive side. We don't have a lot of height, and without Alonso, who is about 6'2", at 6'2", 6'3", we kind of lose, the marking ability on set pieces and whatnot. But with Ruben on there, who's 6'4" maybe, and a powerhouse, decent in the air, we could probably switch them two out and put in Emerson just to help us, stitch together attacking moves a little bit better and track runners. Not that Emerson has been brilliant in the games that I've seen him in. His crosses have been pretty good, but it's just we can't continually go back to Alonso when we're seeing mistake after mistake after mistake, week after week. And it's strange too, because a lot of the things that I'm talking about in this video would probably be a moot point if Willian had the ability to make the right decisions at the right time. This game was a perfect example of what I've been talking about in my videos the last little while, about his poor decision making, the lack of awareness on the pitch that he has. I mean, there's at least 3, 4, 5 times today alone that he either dwelled on the ball, played the wrong ball, made the wrong one, just bad decision making overall. It's starting to become a problem because we don't really necessarily have, especially if we're going to be playing this false nine role, we don't necessarily have a replacement for him on that left or right. A lot of people say Callum Hudson-Odoi, as much as I'd love to see him play more, he's not ready for man football yet. He's a young dude. He's got great technique, but he has to understand systems yet, and he's not at the maturity level to understand a system this complex. Let's be honest. With Willian, it's just, I don't understand why he's struggling to make simple passes. There was an instance even today where he had nice interplay between him, I think it was Aspi, and if I'm not mistaken, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Ruben played it to him and made a run into the 18. And instead of just giving it back to him, Ruben would have been clearing on goal. Just dwells on the ball and then gives it away. It's become the hallmark of his game the last little while. Another situation where he makes a great run, cuts in, and you expect him to shoot, and he tries to play it down the channel and it just rolls out of bounds. It's just, his decision making is just not up to snuff for what you would think to be, starting winger for a top club in the world. Or maybe I need to just come to the grips with the fact that we're not that top club anymore that could have somebody like Eden Hazard on one flank, striker like Diego Costa in the middle, and then maybe somebody like, I don't know, Arjen Robben on the right side. We just don't have that sort of firepower anymore. Maybe our level is this, maybe we are Europa League right now. Maybe we haven't been making the right investments, and as a result, we have guys like Willian, who I like, works hard for the team, understands the system obviously, but doesn't necessarily have the application, like can't really apply what he knows he should be doing on the pitch, like can't finish, makes poor decisions. It's just, you like the guy because he has great endeavor and like he works hard for the team. It's his work rate probably that makes it easier to have Hazard in a free role. But at the same time, for a guy that has that sort of like technique, pace, and ball striking ability, you'd expect more, and it's just his decision making is just poor. But I try not to dig out individual players. I try to look at what the holistic problem is in this team, and for me right now, it's just the lack of leadership. What are the characteristics of the leader? Somebody that when the team is down has the ability to say something or do something that picks them up. Today is a perfect example of why I don't think that we have the types of leaders that you need to, be a strong European force. We surrender a goal and Alonso's looking at, David Luiz is looking at Aspi for answers, and Aspi's looking at David Luiz. They're like arguing on the pitch about whose mistake it was. And really, they're both at fault. Had there been somebody like even Brana Ivanovic, in his prime, of course, not like what we saw the last year under Jose. If we had JT back there, like just somebody who just knows what to say and when, Frank Lampard just as a calming presence on the pitch. Didier Drogba, a strong leader. That's the type of personality and characteristics that I think that we need. At Chelsea right now, we just don't have anybody that possesses that. Aspi's our captain, but would he be the captain if he wasn't at the club as long as he was? Does he possess actual leadership qualities? I'm questioning that. Not that he's not a fantastic player. He's proven again this week. He's turned the corner and is learning how to just patrol that flank again. But what I'm talking about is somebody that can just rally a team and be he's the central figure that people are rallying behind. In a game like today, where after the 60-minute mark, Brighton is just taking a stranglehold of the game in terms of where their energy level is and what they're looking for, and we're just looking around for answers. Who do we turn to in these situations? Until we find one, I think we're going to struggle. I mean, there shouldn't be no surprise as to who I named man of the match. It's Eden Hazard for his goal and his assist, and basically for 45 minutes of football, because I don't think that anyone in the club came out in the second half and played with the same sort of passion, energy, and intensity that you need to play in the Premier League. I'll give it to Hazard because when he got the opportunities, he took them, and he made the difference. But overall, I really wish that we had a team that could just play a 90-minute match and stay focused throughout the whole thing. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Chelsea emerged 2-1 winners despite only playing 45 minutes of football up at the American Express Arena. And Hazard man of the match. We really didn't play a 90 minutes of football, and it seems to be more of a problem as we get further into the season. We got to find somebody that's going to shoulder some of the load. I think at this point in time, Hazard's been involved in maybe 50% of our production goals-wise, and that's just not good enough. We need that number to be a lot lower and for us to be successful even when he's not contributing. So until that happens, I think we're going to struggle, and the top 4 race is going to be, contentious until we can find somebody to help him out in that respect. But we got Bournemouth next in the Cup, and I expect lots of rotation there. Expect to see Ruben in the midfield. I expect to see Emerson on the left flank, and possibly Giroud or Morata up top. Bournemouth do have something to play for. They're pretty much secure in their mid-table ranking somewhere. So these cup games give them the opportunity to just go for it and not worry about, rotation. They could go for it. This is a quarterfinal game. They can get to the semis. It'd be great for them. So I expect them to field a strong side. And we're going to have to be definitely on our P's and Q's to get the results. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there. If you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and if you're a real bad man and want to keep up with the latest and the newest, you will hit that bell notification as well. I'm going to try and make it down to Batch on Wednesday, which is located at 75 Victoria Street, for this cup game. And if you are in the Toronto area, please, by all means, come and join us and make yourself known to Lim, Sai, Shamez, Jay, and all the rest. Eric, Camrad, who all both made it over to London and got some games in there recently. So yeah, we are making it over there, which is great to see, and long may it continue. But until then, just gonna wish you guys a happy holidays, and however you celebrate that, and up the Chels.